Hi BookTube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching Books I'm Not Reading. I am here today to tell you about my fourth quarter TBR for 2020. That's right, 2020 is going to come to an end. I don't know what the next 3 months will look like, but I'm sure it will be interesting. But yeah, I want to tell you, what my reading plans are, including Victober. But first, before I begin, what didn't I get to in my third quarter TBR? I did not get to read Germaine Greer's Shakespeare's Wife. I wanted to read this alongside ShakeTube and just had too many other things going on, and so I did not get to that one. Another book that I got to quite late in the third quarter, so it's going to have to be finished up in the fourth quarter, is My Father's Tears by John Updike. I'm just trying to read a story a day from this collection. This is one of those books Jason bought me where I just kind of, I'm like, why did you buy this for me? I don't understand. Now, for those of you, I know many of you are so passionate about Victober, and I really hope that next year gets to be the year where I'm really, really passionate about Victober. You know, part of my problem in choosing things to read for Victober is that I'm not buying any books this year, and I'm not checking any books out from the library. I've checked out one book from the library since March. It's a small Victober TBR, but I will do my best to try to find other ways to sneak Victober in. I do want to do a fake crate that relates to Victober, so that is coming. But the book I'm going to read is Charles Dickens' The Mystery of Edwin, Drood. And this was his last book. It was published, I think, he died in 1870, so... and I believe Wilkie Collins is the one who finished the book for him. So, and I have to, I totally confess, I picked it because it's slim, which is quite unusual for Dickens. And then I thought I would do some Victorian poetry. So I'm hoping with one of you, and you know who you are, to read some Elizabeth Barrett Browning poetry. And do a poetry for beginners / Victober video. So we'll see what happens there. I'm still waiting to hear back from someone. So that's what I'm going to read for Victober. I know, I'm going rogue, not following the prompts or anything like that. I will link to all of the hosts of Victober if you haven't seen their announcement videos by now, which I'm guessing most of you have. But here are a few of the other, a few. Here's what I hope to achieve with the rest of 2020. So one of my goals was to try to read up on some of our mass market paperbacks that we have, and we actually don't have that many. Most of them are Jason books. But I know I'm the last person in the world that hasn't read The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. Pre-COVID, Jason bought this for me at like Target or someplace like that, and I just haven't got to it, but I think it'd be a nice, hopefully easy read. Another goal this year that I had was to read more poetry, and so I asked Jason for a couple recommendations of 2 more poetry collections. One is The Light Around the Body by Robert Bly. This won the National Book Award for Poetry in 1967. Jason really loves Robert Bly. I'm not sure if I will or not, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. The other one, though, I'm more excited about, and that's called Sinner's Welcome by Mary Carr, and also includes an essay on poetry and faith. So, hoping that I will be able to, again, like a short story, read a couple poems a day and, get through those. And then, once I finish the John Updike short story collection. I'd like to read another short story collection called The Knife Thrower by Stephen Millhauser. He wrote a Pulitzer Prize winning novel called Martin Dressler, and I absolutely love that book. I think it's really, really great. And so again, I think Jason found this in a used bookstore or something along those lines and got this for me. And I think one of you actually, I don't remember who, I'm sorry, but I think one of you recommended this to me as well. So I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, so this will motivate me to get through that John Updike short story collection. And then I have 4 nonfiction books, and these are actually the last books that I have to read for my Curious Adventure TBR. So you've probably seen all of these on my channel before. First one is called The Horizontal World. I don't know how to hold this book up. Growing Up Wild in the Middle of Nowhere, which I felt like I could identify with, although this book actually takes place in North Dakota. I think for some reason I thought that it took place in Wyoming. Maybe I just think Wyoming is more middle of nowhere than North Dakota. The next one is actually about Wyoming. It's by Ken Mansfield. It's called Between Wyomings, My God and an iPod and the Open Road. So I'll be talking to you more about this book in the near future. I've owned this one for a while, and I'm always curious about Wyoming books. Just because, yeah, there's maybe not as many. And this one, I think he's more traveling. He doesn't live in Wyoming. I think he's traveling through. The next one is A Buffalo in the House by R.D. Rosen, The Extraordinary Story of Charlie and His Family. Now, if you watched my Q&A, you will know that I did have an encounter with a buffalo once. It was a long time ago. I can't imagine living with a buffalo. Sounds quite dangerous to me. But yeah, as soon as I saw this book, I was instantly curious. And then finally, in December, I am really hoping to read Raising the Bar, Big Dreams, False Starts, and My Midlife Quest to Dance the Nutcracker by Lauren Kessler. And Jason, I think he got me this book for Christmas last year, but it was like, you know, it was Christmas, and so I'm like, well, I want to read this in December. Like, I wish he'd given it to me earlier in the month, because I would have read it right away. As it is, I've postponed reading it for this year, so I'm very, very excited to get to this book. Now, I will be participating in Nonfiction November, and that's a fair amount of nonfiction right there. But I don't know, maybe there'll be room for some other things in there, so we'll see. Last book on the list is a real wild card. This is The Ivory Mischief by Arthur Meeker Jr. Okay, so long story about this about this book. For the longest time, when I was growing up and going to college and all that kind of stuff, my mom would just periodically mention, "Oh, The Ivory Mischief. That was such a great book. I wish I could find a copy of it. It's, you know, it's out of print. Blah blah blah." Fast forward to the year I lived in Chicago. And I didn't go to the main Chicago library very often because it was pretty far away from where I lived, but we did have a branch library in our neighborhood. And they just had a table of free books, which was wild to me. And I found this book in there. So I got it for my mom. I'm sure she hasn't read it since I got it for her. It's okay. It's no big deal. But I also don't think that she's ever actually gonna read it again. And again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that. But I I decided for my mother, I'm going to read this. So it is a little bit of a chunkster, 674 pages. So this could take up a lot of time, but it's important. And then I'm just going to give it back to my mom. So let her decide what to do with it. If I do have any other free time, oh, and of course I'll be reading A Christmas Carol, which I didn't grab the copy of it. I apologize for that. So I will be reading A Christmas Carol in December. And then if I have any other free time, I have these middle grade, they're mainly Newbery books, sitting in my middle grade YA cupboard. And I just want to read them one more time. And then I would love to give them to Lindsay from Lindsay Reads. Lindsay has not posted a video in a very long time. So I did see, though, that she posted on Goodreads recently, and she's still reading. Her goal was to read all of the books that had not only won the Newbery, but also had been Newbery finalists, which I find an incredibly ambitious reading project, even if they are middle grade books. That's a lot. So, anyway, so I just would like to read these one more time, and then I have a feeling that I can let them go, that I'm not going to need to read them again. So that's kind of my plan. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll sneak some of these in between some of my nonfiction in November, but I look forward to catching up on a lot of Victober TBRs. But yeah, what are your plans for the rest of the year? Do you have any goals for yourself that things you really want to accomplish and finish before 2020 ends? Look to remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.